research misconduct. My dear students,
This call is now being recorded.
research misconduct is very much important phenomena and very much important aspect for the academic fraternity as the teachers, scholars, and other stakeholders who are the part and parcel of academic society or who have to elaborate or disseminate the information to the society as well as the government of India and the other state governments. Because of these governments are responsible to prepare different policies or they plan about the growth and development of the society. But it is based upon the research output or the research input is given to the government. As and when the government will receive such kind of the output, then they will devise the mechanism how we have to reach to the society, to the public. As far as research misconduct topic is concerned, it is very much important topic and aspect today's field. Generally, we have to know what is the meaning of the ethics, what is the meaning of the research ethics. Any kind of the code of the conduct in the life of the individual is known as ethics. On the other hand, any kind of the code of conduct is being implemented by you for the purpose of the research is known as the research ethics. Broadly, we have to categorize the research ethics in two categories. Number one, research integrity and publication ethics. Another one is publication ethics. If I am saying research ethics, is it okay? Audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. As I suggested and conveyed, the research ethics are mainly of the two fields. One is research integrity and second one is publication ethics. From the PowerPoint presentation, you can see the research integrity includes there should be no any fabrication, no falsification, and no plagiarism. As far as the publication ethics is concerned, it should be the part of restriction on duplicate publication and self-plagiarism. It is the broad categories of these aspects. Now, one by one, we have to convey also why we should and why we get motivated to publish. A research paper which has been published by the Applied Microscopy, a society is there, and an author, Chang Sub-Um, Department of Anatomy, Korea University College of Medicine, Seoul, Korea. He has published this paper. I will share it with you all. He has stated that there are so many simple reasons to publish a paper. Sometimes we have to boast ourselves so that the people came to know who am I. Suppose I am a teacher who knows to me, if I got published a paper through the journal, magazines, publications, reports, social media, and other media, so that the people came to know who am I, where I am working, and they can get connected with me as and when I will publish a paper or a document. That is the first reason. Mean to say, these are different desires. The first desire to maximize the dissemination, mean to say 54%. The desire of the individual is that I have to disseminate myself. I have to explore myself in different fields, different areas. And for the purpose of the career development, the development is saying only the 20% role of the publication or the motivation for the career progression. Sometimes we have to take the or grab the funds, or we have to invite the proposals for getting the funds. That is another motivational factor which plays 30% role in our life. Sometimes we drive different ideas, novel ideas, and we expect that this idea is with me and I have to explore it to the society, to the public, and they will see what is the relevance of me in this particular area or the field. That is known as ego. To satisfy the ego, we publish the paper, and that is the percentage is 9%. Sometimes we have to publish our document to protect our patent and copyright, so that the people came to know that this work has been done by me. Nobody can take it as patent or the copyright. These are different motivation factors which have to motivate us to publish a document. In brief, the exploration, career development, funding, ego satisfaction, patent and copyrights. But beyond that, there are so many reasons. Sometimes one author motivate the other author. Please get it published, this document, so that the people came to know who are you and what you are doing. Sometimes to transfer the legacy from one to another. If I can quote an example of Ramanujan, mathematician is there. G.H. Hardy was his teacher or friend. He has invited him to please come with me and do the work. As and when Hardy is willing to meet to Ramanujan and saying that, okay, you are not feeling well, what can I do? Then he has requested, okay, we should continue this research process. Both persons came outside from the hospital, and the taxi or the maxi cab number is 1729. 1729. 1729. Hardy is saying this maxi cab number is not okay. But the gentleman, respected and esteemed mathematician, has stated that no, it is very much interesting number for me. It is the cubes of the two numbers in two ways. It is the plus, or the mean to say it is the total of two cubes in two different ways. It is a total of 9 cube plus 10 cubes. And it is also the total of 1 cube and 12 cube. He stated that. After the passing of Mr. Ramanujan, another students, another scholars, philosophers who have followed that fellow to continue that passage or itinerary or the travel, they have to publish those documents who have not been published by Professor Ramanujan. It is what? It is again motivation. Mean to say there are so many factors which will have to motivate you to publish. If you are traveling in your fields or walking in the fields, you came to know there is very much peaceful environment. I should write 2 or 3 lines on it. You can write. Mean to say every person has so many factors to motivate to publish his or her idea. Now, when we are going to publish it, sometimes what happened, we are not honest. We grab the data, we grab the information from different places. As and when your integrity will be compromised by you with your honesty, then you are going to violate the research integrity ethics. If you are doing plagiarism, it means to say you are violating the publication ethics. That's why I have categorized, after reading so much available material, that may be the applied microscopy and the UGC and the WAM and the COPE and different organizations who have done marvelous work on research and publication ethics. And I came to on this conclusion, and I have to wrap it in 2 categories: research integrity, another one is publication ethics. In case of the research integrity, there are 3 words which I have utilized. First one is fabrication, then falsification, then plagiarism. One by one, I will discuss it. As far as research integrity, I conveyed earlier. What is the meaning of the integrity? Why it is necessary and important for me? Being a teacher, intellectual honesty and personal responsibility is very much important for me. If I am a teacher or a scholar, I have to make honesty for the proposals, for the performance, and to report the research in different media. And I should be fair in peer review if I am editor or peer reviewer. I should have to contribute in accurate and fair manner in a research paper, as I told you earlier also. Communication and sharing of the resources, I should cite, I should communicate, and I have to admit that what kind of the resources I have utilized and where I have taken that experiment tools and who have contributed a lot for my research. Next, protection of human subject in the conduct of the research. Sometimes we include in our experiments animals, persons, bodies, dead bodies for the purpose of the vaccine trial, human beings. At that moment, we should be honest. Being scientist or the scholar, the teacher or the researcher, we have to communicate each and everything. Okay, gentlemen, that is the vaccine. And it is under trial, it is the 3rd phase or the 4th phase. If any kind of the damage of your body will happen, we are responsible because of we are going to give the treatment to you. Or you have to communicate in your agreement any cause of the loss is to be borne by the person. That's why I am saying we should have to protect animals, social environment, another environment, and all human factors environmental factors. Mean to say, if I am willing to do any kind of the experiment, I have to protect my environment first. I have to protect my land, my water, air. Any kind of the pollution is not to be created or emerged on the part of me. That is the responsibility of a scholar. And it is the part and parcel of our integrity. So that people came to know, okay, that fellow has done this research and without any kind of the damage, he or she has completed this research. Therefore, it is necessary that we have to communicate each and everything to anyone. Okay, these are the experimental tools. These were the resources we have utilized, where the lab is there. If you can see, the coronavirus has been emerged by a particular country, the name is given, and that country has denied to share the resources of their biological lab. What is that? That is the research integrity violations. They have not to violate these kind of the research misconduct. They have not to follow. They have to conduct in a proper manner, and they have to adopt the ethics of the research. Another one is, as I told you earlier, fabrication of data. Fabrication of data is the act of the inventing data or the result without actually measuring them or acquiring them through investigation. A particular slide and the consecutive slides 1, 2, 3 have been borrowed from the Manual for Research and Publication Ethics in Science and Engineering for Applied Microscopy organization. And it is the part of that particular manual where this picture is being drawn. And I have captured it and so that I can explain in a proper manner. What is that? In case of the original data, there are 3 hours, 1 hour, 5 hours. It is the measured value. Experiment 1, experiment 2. In case of the experiment 1, what the actual situation? Actual situation was under 1 hour, there is no measured value, but the data is being published as 4. 3 hours, nothing was measured, but we put the value 10. What is that? That is of data fabrication. It means to say the actual act was not happened. There was an experiment. For that particular experiment, we have to start our measuring after 5 hours. Before 5 hours, that experiment or the input or the output cannot be drawn or the data cannot be captured before 5 hours. But that is fabrication of data. Not measuring the control group, just assigning the arbitrary numbers to the control group after experiment. There are 2 groups, control group and experimental group. Control group is that who is not under experiment. Experiment group who is under experiment. For example, I can take a simple example for you. We have selected 20 students for the purpose of the training on PDS, plagiarism detection softwares. Out of 20, 10 have not been trained and 10 have been trained for 1 week workshop. After 1 week, we draw the results, analyze the data, and said that 80% of the 20 students have passed the test of PDS. What it shows? The student who have not participated, 6 student, 80% total 16, and you have considered only 10 students, and you are giving the result on 16 students. However, 6 students have not been included by your control group or your experiment group. What had happened? It meant to say that event was not happened, but you have included the data of those people. That is known as fabrication. Next one is falsification of data. Data falsification is manipulating research material, equipments, procedure, changing and omitting the data without reasonable justification such that the results are not accurately reflected. Mean to say, what I need from the results, these results are not up to mark with the observation of me. That's why I have changed the values. You can see from the picture or the exhibit, you can say 5/3/17 and data is being published 5/10/17 because of what was my perception. My hypothesis was that under 1 hour the value is 5, the temperature is 5. If I will boil any kind of the chemical, it will increase the temperature within 3 hours and it may be 10, but the value is coming 3, original data is 3. There are so many extraneous variables, due to that the temperature was low. But what I got published? I published 10. Another way, in the second experiment, the value is 7/2/20. Again, the situation is rising 7/11/20. That is what? Falsification of the data. Is it clear? Meenakshi Roda can give the
Yes, sir.
response.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. Now the third point, plagiarism. It is very much important aspect. Why? Because of we came to know the name of this word and we are repeatedly listening this word. What is that exactly? Definition as per the dictionary is copying words or the ideas of the another person and presenting them as one's original work. For example, as I conveyed, Some technical problem is there. Okay. Now audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have to continue.
Yes,
No
sir.
problem. As I told you, the dictionary definitions are what? Copying words of the ideas of another person and presenting them as one's own original work. It means to say, I'm claiming, okay, this is my work. Actually, it was not my work. Is it visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
My screen is
No,
visible.
sir, your voice is breaking here, sir. Your voice is breaking.
Okay, okay. Voice is to be entire screen, a window.
Sir, screen not visible.
No, sir, the screen is not clear.
Okay, okay, I am doing it. No problem. Hope is it visible?
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Okay, your Google Meet is also visible and PowerPoint presentation is also visible. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I am going to say that copying words, plagiarism include the following two acts: taking the work of the another person, adding on to one's work, deceiving the public. It means to say हम public को धोखा देते हैं. We are not actually honest towards our research integrity, and we are doing misconduct. When I am claiming this is my work, however, in origin, it was not mine. That's why the definition of the plagiarism as per the guidelines for research ethics of the Korean Association of the Academic Societies is copying or paraphrasing the entire text, or parts of the other's work without giving appropriate credit. Mean to say, we are not giving due credit to those people who have contributed a lot, and just we are ignoring and we are discrediting them. That is known as plagiarism, and it is again misconduct. What kind of the misconduct? Research misconduct, research integrity misconduct. Moreover, sometimes what we do, one sentence from word to word. At the last paragraph, you can see using more than one sentence, word for word from another person's work is generally considered unacceptable. And even a single sentence must be cited to disclose that it is not the author's own work. That's why I have advised and conveyed earlier also, as and when you will put your pen on your paper for a particular research paper, you should have the citation work first. Keep in mind, when you are willing to publish any kind of the document, just concentrate. After concentrating on your applications of your mind or the brain, you have to put a pen on your paper after getting it documented, and authenticity by maintaining your research integrity so that you will not face any kind of the problem in this regard. Therefore, I am saying word to word, a single sentence must be cited. Suppose you have mentioned a line, cotton is having paramount importance in the field of the agriculture. Who have stated that? You must mention. Sometimes we borrow the thesis from the library and we just quote 2 or 3 lines of the first paragraph of the introductory paragraph. You must mention that fellow's name, the scholar's name, the supervisor's name, whose thesis you have considered. You should give the credit to that fellow, because of that work is not of you. If it is not mine, then I have to acknowledge it. That is the other's work. If we violate these things, that is plagiarism. Another point. Nowadays, I just got published my one research paper in journal A, second journal B, C, D. I utilized the research and methodology part from paper A and published it in B, in C and D also. What is that? That is self-plagiarism. And again, it is publication misconduct, or you can say research misconduct. When you are acknowledging your work, suppose you have published a document in journal A and you are willing to publish some of the part as research methodology or as review of literature or as data analysis tool or research design, you must mention, acknowledge it for the journal B and acknowledge it, okay, that has been published in the journal A and it is the citation of it. Then there is no problem. As I told you earlier, the upper slide, plagiarism, is again borrowed from the Manual for Research and Publication Ethics. I have given in the notes. If I can explore it, or should we, you can see the whole ISBN number 978895938345093193190. Why I am quoting here? Because of it is the part and parcel of my honesty. If I am not honest, then I cannot deliver the lecture on the research and publication ethics. And I must mention where that particular exhibit has been taken. What is the source of it? You just acknowledge the source and you can do your work. Because of that agreement or the copyright of this book is saying, okay, you can create it, you can disseminate it, but you should acknowledge us. And I have acknowledged. Then there is no plagiarism. Even you did your work, you should acknowledge your work also. Now, the third one is how to deal with the misconduct. In case of your syllabi of the research and publication ethics, violation of the publication ethics, authorship and contribution. Firstly, we have to define publication misconduct, as I told earlier. Now, if these are being violated, then what is the logic? And what is the solution of it? What kind of the principles you have to adopt? And what kind of the serious misconduct? And what is the less serious misconduct? These all principles, investigating misconduct, serious misconduct, less serious misconduct, what is the category and relevance of that? All have been discussed in our corporate guidelines Just I ask question from Amarjot. Unmute your mic. Amarjot, please. Deepika Malik.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Please
sir.
tell me COPE. Full form of the COPE. COP. Anyone?
Sir, Committee on Publication Ethics.
Okay. Second, WAME. Anyone? World
Sir, it's
Association of
World
Medical
Association of Medical Editors.
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 UGC.
University Grant Commission.
Anyone?
Sir, it's University Grant
Please
Commission.
put it in chat box. Write in the chat box. Okay, anyone? Any more?
University grants.
Yes, everyone. Please write in the chat box. Okay, now next point is just I'm coming on the COP guidelines. Because of these guidelines will convey about the rules, regulations regarding the dealing with misconduct. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Committee on
Yes.
Publication Ethics. Okay. These are saying under the point number or page number, you can say 46. Here is dealing with misconduct. Is it visible?
Yes,
Okay, now
sir.
it is visible.
Yes.
General publication or the general principle confirming all, we have to ensure that what kind of the misconduct has happened. That was research misconduct. Mean to say research ethics, as I broadly explained and categorized in two categories: research integrity and publication ethics. To whom you are going to deal with it? What kind of the conduct you have mistaken, or what kind of the misconduct you have to deal with it? COPE guidelines are saying. Second point is very much important. The examination of the misconduct must therefore focus not only the particular act or the omission of the researcher, author, editor, reviewer, publisher involved. Mean to say the different parties which are involved in research What was their intention? Are they willing to create or do crime against the society? Yes or no? They are willing to do the wrongful act against them? The author, editor, reviewer, publisher, and researcher, and the teacher also, if their intention is good and they have no any such kind of the wrong intention in their mind to deceive the public. I am utilizing the word deceive. The third point is saying deception may be by intention, by reckless disregard of these possible consequences of the negligence. If you are honest, knowingly and unknowingly, there are two words. If you are knowingly doing the wrong act, it means to say your intention was not clear. However, being teacher, it is my individual thought, individual opinion, that the good decisions made by bad intention may be good decisions, but the bad decisions with good intention remains bad decisions. What was your intention? Well, your intention was good at that moment, but what is the output? Output is zero, or the bad, or the negative. It means to say your intention has nothing. Therefore, you have to deal with such kind of the misconduct with a code of practice. What the practice is being followed? If any kind of the wrongful act is being done by a researcher, what is the impact of that? And what kind of the punishment is to be given, what kind of the penalty is to be given, that should be decided in advance, so that any kind of the mischievous activity will not take place. Now, what we can do, being editor, just reject the paper or raise the questions for the misconduct on authors. They are ethically obligated. Another one is on the part of the editor. It is very much important that they have to decide what action is to be made or what action they have to take. Why? Because of the editor is that channel which is interacting with the public day by day. You know very well, in different newspapers, magazines, just an email is given, letter to editor, please note. It means to say that editor is a person or an individual who is very much aware about the sentiments of the society, aware about the demand and desire of the society or the stakeholders, what they are willing to do. Now, another point, serious misconduct and less serious misconduct. Serious misconduct is that when editors see or observe that this kind of the paper can harm the society in a broader manner, then the editors must investigate into the serious causes. Take it serious case. Editor must decide when to alert the employer of the accused authors. Editor must communicate to the university or the organization from the way author is affiliated. If any evidence is there, then the editor should collect the evidence from that organization also. And if the accusation of the serious misconduct are not accompanied by the convincing evidence, then editors should confidentially seek expert advice. They can take the legal advice to the expert advice, what action is to be taken against that particular defaulter. If the experts find no evidence of the misconduct, then the editorial process should proceed in normal way. If found, then the penalty be given. Another one is, if these are the less serious misconduct, then Editors should remember that accusation of even minor misconduct may have serious implications for the authors. It may then be necessary to ask the employer to investigate. They have to investigate exactly what kind of the misconduct has been held. After observing, after investigating, then they have to recommend that what kind of the action is being initiated against the author. These are how to deal with it. These are the basics, some of the aspects on what basis we can deal with such kind of the misconduct. This material is to be shared with you, no problem. Moreover, another point, in case of the plagiarism, University Grants Commission, not Grant Commission, it is grants, GRANTS, it is plural. The commission which will provide the grants to the universities. That's why the name is grants, not grant. Check your name as you have sent in the chat box. If anyone is committing any kind of the mistake, please correct it. No problem. Improvement can be done at any stage. Do not take it personalized. What I'm going to say here, the plagiarism aspect is that, which is very much important aspect, and University Grants Commission Regulation 2018, these are rule and regulations. What I need today, I expect that you all have to study. Download it from the University Grants Commission website, just study. And in the next lecture, we will elaborate and discuss. There will be a discussion panel or the discussion forum, okay, where we can discuss, or the group discussion you can help. What is the pattern, methodology to deal with this misconduct, specifically on the plagiarism? As we have discussed, different misconduct. Basically, these were categorized in two categories: research integrity violations, public ethics violations. Fabrication is clarified, falsification is clarified, and we will discuss plagiarism in the coming lecture on tomorrow. With these words, thank you all. If any query or any question, you can